Happy New Year, everyone. This morning I'm chopping an onion for a meatloaf. I'm going to make this for dinner tonight, and I'm not a big fan of meatloaf, so I'm trying a new recipe. Hopefully I will like this and something that my family will enjoy, and I'll make it more often maybe. So I've started off chopping a whole small onion and one clove of garlic. I'm going to saute the onion first until it's translucent, and that's about, 4 or 5 minutes. And then at that point I will add the garlic and then cook that for another minute. When I was a kid, I hated meatloaf, and I certainly hated it with onion in it. My mom would used to make me a small little serving of meatloaf and leave out the onion. So I have a great mom, and she would always do things like that just so that we would eat properly. Anyway, that's just a little side note. To this meatloaf, you're going to add the sauteed onion and garlic and two eggs. Next is 3 tablespoons of ketchup, 1/3 cup of milk, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and that is to taste. If that's too much salt for you, certainly back off on that. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper and 1.5 teaspoons of Italian seasonings. Gonna give that a really good, and a 1/2 teaspoon of paprika. You're gonna give that a really good stir. I used my chopper and chopped all that in. I didn't have gloves today, and I really didn't want to get my hands in that raw meat. So, and after that, get that mixed up together. You're gonna add 3/4 cup of Panko breadcrumbs. Mix that in really well. And then you're going to form your loaf after you have mixed in your breadcrumbs. You could have added the breadcrumbs in with all the other ingredients. I just added it at the end. So since I did not have gloves, I used baggies for my hands so I could keep them clean. So I formed my meatloaf and I put it in the oven, 375 degrees for 40 minutes. I already had my oven preheated. And while that's in the oven, I'm going to go ahead and make my glaze for the top of the meatloaf. So it's 3/4 cup of ketchup, 1.5 teaspoons of white vinegar, 2.5 tablespoons of brown sugar. Then you're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Actually, it's a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Gonna mix that up really well, get that smooth, and set that aside for when your meatloaf has completed the 40 minutes. While we're waiting on the meatloaf in the oven, I want to show you guys the one thing that I've done in my kitchen that has been the most helpful to me is organizing my spice drawer. These little jars that I bought on Amazon are the best. They have kept me so organized. I don't mind going to the spice cabinet anymore. All right, so enough of that. Once the 40 minutes is up, I take it out of the oven and I just top it all over with the glaze that we made earlier. Spread that all over it, even down over on the sides. And then you're going to put that back in the oven for about 15 to 20 more minutes. Depending on the thickness of your meatloaf, you want your internal temperature of the meat to be at least 160 degrees. So I let that sit and rest for 10 minutes before I sliced it. And I just wanted to slice and give it a taste. And I'm telling you, it was the best meatloaf I have ever made. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.